All right, good morning, garden friends. As you guys know, we had our anniversary weekend in South and North Carolina and ended up going to Wilson's and King's Nursery and picked up some plants. So I just want to be able to share with you some of the plants that I got. Now, this is the thing. Especially the coneflowers. That is for a project that I'm working on for next year. And one of the things that I'm going to be doing is getting the one of the raised beds in where our greenhouse is and get those guys planted in there along with my what are those daylilies are going to get planted back there. And this is the thing, you know, one of the things that I like to do, especially when I buy plants that not that they're off season, because the coneflowers are good for, you know, fall color, is to get them in the ground. The other thing that I'm going to be doing today is, as you remember, I planted that twisted hibiscus tree in the ground, not realizing that in order for it to survive over, you know, our cold months, you have to be in like zone 9 and above. So I'm going to get that put into the pot. I did end up getting some, actually 2 rows of Sharon, because I changed my mind in regards to what I was going to be doing up in the secret garden. But where the hibiscus is, once I get that into the pot, I'm going to be putting one of the rows of Sharons in there. So that is sort of what is on the agenda today. I'm going to try to get as much of this stuff planted. Some stuff I'm going to more than likely move it into a bigger container, because I know some of them are root bound. So let me turn the camera around and show you what we ended up getting, and then I'll go ahead and start getting things potted up. Okay, so the first plant is the Eclipse big leaf hydrangea. This guy will get 3.5 feet tall and 3.5 feet wide. Likes morning sun, afternoon shade. And where I'm going to be placing this at is back in where my hostas are. My one hosta I'm going to end up moving. And good through zones 5 to 9. And one of the things that I so love about this is the foliage. That foliage is just so gorgeous. And then this is what the flowers will look like. And I think that'll look really, really nice in the back area to give me a pop of color. The next is the 2 rows of Sharons that I got. Like I said, the one is going to go where the hibiscus is. I haven't quite decided where I'm going to put the other one. But let's get the specs on this guy. Okay, and this is called the purple pillar. It will get 10 to 16. Oops. It will get 10 to 16 foot tall, 2 to 3 feet wide. And where this is going at, it's going to look gorgeous. And where it's going to be at is going to get at least 6+ hours, because I was reading the more sun, the better it ends up doing. And then in late winter, early spring is when I'll go ahead and prune this guy back to have it nicely shaped. To add some additional fall color, I got a couple of the, I think these are called red cherry mums. Now, the one thing that I do find here, these guys come back. I know usually like the chrysanthemums tend to come back, but every time I plant the mums, and I have some in the back garden that come back. And these guys will get 6 to 12 inches tall, and they like full sun. The next plant is, and this here is actually going into a pot back on the, this here is called Monterey Cypress Wilma, and it will get about 6 foot in height, full sun, and I wanted to be able to have, some winter interest on the courtyard. This other plant, which I'm also going to be putting in a pot, but when we get the cooler weather, I will more than likely bring it into the garage, because when we do have those colder temperatures, it won't survive. And I want to be able, to enjoy this plant for some time. Now, as you guys know, I just love the gregaria. This here is the Salvia gregaria, and it's called Mirage Salmon, and it's part of the sage family. This too likes full sun. It will get 12 to 14 inches tall and 14 to 16 inches wide. And I have a few of these in the garden already, and I just love how they end up performing. I did end up getting some geraniums because I love geraniums. Now, these are annuals, but last year I had planted some and they ended up coming back. So I'm going to go ahead and get these out of the pots and into the ground. I was thinking up in the secret garden, but on the left hand side to add more color in that area. But the only thing is trying to remember where my bulbs are, just to make sure I don't disturb those. But I haven't quite yet decided what I'm going to do with those. Now, I also ended up having a leftover Dysantium that's also going to go back into the beds, the raised beds in where their greenhouse is, and then also my Dora daylilies. Now those are ones that I thinned out from up in the secret garden. Now my coneflowers. I have a nice variety of the coneflowers, and that was the one thing that I wanted, because this is going to be part of the project that I am working on for next year, and then that way it'll give it enough time. So the varieties I got is the sombrero lemon yellow. This guy will get, they like to be planted in full sun. They will get 18 to 20 inches tall, and looks like 18 to 22 wide. I so love these guys because once they are established, low maintenance, low maintenance. Working a full-time job, but that's what I'm shooting for, is to be able to have color, but things be low maintenance. The other choice that I have is the sombrero. Oops, let me get that sombrero adobe orange, and I so love that pop of color, and then to the shapes of the flowers. Another variety that I have is called the hot coral. And these guys, I think the color combination that I have is going to look amazing. I think this is the same one. Let me just double check. Oh no, this one here is Ardennes collection, the red ombre for this one. And I think that's what these two are too. The other thing that I ended up getting were the two of the Anna magic balls. Those are also going to be going up into the secret garden. partly because once we move the white wedding hydrangeas to the side of the house, when I put the Texas Vertex lilac in that spot, I want to be able to flank um, the two Anna Magic balls at the base, and then those guys will get the specs. These guys will get they will get 2 to 3 feet tall, 3 to 4 foot wide, 6 hours, which they will love up there, and they're a native species, so an evergreen. So, like I said, trying to create winter interest up throughout my garden. Okay, so those are the things that we ended up getting when we were in North Carolina and South Carolina. Now, the other thing are my Leland cypress. Waiting until the weather gets cooler, and these guys have grown since we have gotten them, and we've kept them, in the pots. The goal is our neighbor is going to get that uh, tree cut down, and our goal is to line them up along our property line. And then these guys, and that was the one thing that we liked about it. The Leland cypresses, full sun, that area is full sun. These guys will, oh, wait a minute, what did they tell me? How tall? Oh, they get 20 to 30 foot tall and 10 foot wide. So we have a nice area that those guys are going to go into, and I think it's going to look really nice. So, but those things will not be planted until this fall. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and get some soil in the bottom of the pot that I'm going to transplant the twisted hibiscus. So that way when I dig it up, get it right back into the soil and help reduce some of the shock to it. So let me go ahead and get this container filled up. Now, I'm not going to put any fertilizer in here or anything because the soil already has the fertilizer in it. And with us coming towards the end of summer, I wanted to be able to at least go into dormancy. So let me go get my shovel. I'm going to go ahead and get this dug up. Okay, so I got it in the pot. It was doing good, and I'll show you guys over in the ground. But like I said, this will not be able to handle our cooler weather. So go ahead and get this container filled up. Put some mulch. Just don't want to make sure the soil's not up to the neck of the tree so it doesn't rot. Let me go ahead and get the hose and get this guy watered, mulch, and then we'll move on to the next project. Get it watered. Now, because the pot's so big, I'm gonna keep watering it until I see it come out of the drain hole. And that drain hole is probably about this big. Because while they like water, they don't like to be sitting in water. So let that drain. Like I said, once I start seeing it come out the bottom, then I know this has been fully watered all the way through. All right, it's starting to come out. I'm going to go ahead and let the water drain out to see if I need to put any more dirt on here. Okay guys, so I ended up having some extra Lycia golden globes, which are these. And then I ended up having one more of my moss rose right here that I put inside. And I think that ends up looking really good. All right, guys, I was taking my wheelbarrow back to the backyard, my wagon. And look what Kevin did. He went ahead and planted my Rose of Sharon. That's gonna look really nice right there. All right, this is gonna look nice there. And then the close proximity to inside the garage that we can go ahead and bring the twisted hibiscus into the garage. All right, garden friends, it's like perfect timing that I got this done because as you can see, the sun is over here, and while it's beautiful, it is warm today. So I'm glad I was able to get the hibiscus planted and Kevin to get the Rose of Sharon planted for me. Well, thank you again for visiting Inspiring Garden Corner. And if you enjoy my content, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. I so appreciate it.